Since we've started doing YouScience, we have seen an increase in career tech enrollment in Florence City Schools every year since we've been using it. We're pretty much at capacity of our career tech without adding personnel. We're at capacity. We have also seen a greater quality of career tech student in our programs, especially in our upper level programs, in our level 2 and level 3 and level 4 classes at the high school. We're starting to see, there was always the idea that students who take those classes wanted to be in those classes to begin with, but we're seeing that with much more clarity now. And it's even in our fundamentals classes, our level 1 classes, we're seeing a lot more clarity in students wanting to be in the class, not just because of interest, but because they know what their aptitudes are, and they know that they are going to be naturally strong in this area, or they should be anyway. YouScience definitely has played a part in that, but I really think it's our educators knowing that our students are taking these assessments, because our educators are what drive our programs. Them knowing what their aptitudes are, that we're doing this, that our students are being exposed to it, I think it can help lead their instruction in a much more engaging way.
In 2018, when we first started the Modern Manufacturing program, it was just a concept. We had 14 students from 2 high schools, Holt High School and Brookwood High School. So we knew for this program to be what we envisioned, we were going to have to find a way to develop a talent pool, a talent search. Who are we going to target? Who are going to be the students that we went after? So we basically gave our 9th graders the YouScience assessment, and after they took the assessment, it was closer to the end of the school year, so I took the results over the summer and started pinpointing or targeting the students who took it based upon where their aptitude and interest lied. And so by the time that our counselors came back to school in August, I had 75 names picked out for them that had the interest and the aptitude to go into a modern manufacturing program. We initially went from 14 students to 55 students. COVID happened and we had to go home a year early, so it was actually the 3rd year in existence that this program had a full 4th year. But through the COVID pandemic, we were able to create a dual enrollment program with Shelton State, use YouScience for a 2nd consecutive year to pinpoint who were the students. So actually the 3rd year, we had roughly 100 students in the class, and then the 4th year, last year, 125, and this year, 155. 155 students in a program that started 5 years ago with a registered apprenticeship at Mercedes-Benz has been pretty remarkable so far.
I feel like YouScience has helped empower me as a career coach because it opens that line of communication. I'm able to ask a student, what do you think you might want to do? And instead of them saying, I don't know, I really have no idea, we can pull up their YouScience results, look at it, and instead of them saying, I don't know, they may say, oh, well, maybe I do want to do this. And it just brings about that communication. Our students have found it meaningful in that it has made them think a little bit more about careers that they wouldn't have known otherwise. And maybe they didn't realize that they had a certain aptitude or personality trait that was a strength. It's just brought about a way that they could explore more careers that they would have otherwise not even realized was an option.
We use YouScience a good bit with our 4-year plan. We have really utilized that because we started out that way, and then each year we can come back, and then it helps us realize what electives or programs maybe that we don't have for our students that are interested in, because in our 4-year plan we keep it very, very basic initially to know how many electives, so they can have an idea of how many electives you will have during the next 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, what are left. So we can really emphasize the importance of what you choose for your electives. So then now go to your YouScience and look at some careers, some pathways, what you're good at, what you're interested in, what electives do we have here at Muscle Shoals that now you can fit in for the next 4 years, 3 years. You know, we just come back to them and each year looking at what is in YouScience and then what electives you have for that upcoming year. So I love YouScience for our 4-year plan.
So the data is going to be very important because that data is going to help us shape our budgets, design program alignment, hire, adapt, and train the future, because we're going to be looking at programs at an adaptive process now like never before. We're not going to have a program just because we've had it for a traditional amount of time. If we're seeing that the data lines up, that the students have the skills and industry needs the skills for a program we don't have, we can start shifting toward adding programs or modifying programs to keep those current and up to date to meet workforce demands.
We hired a consultant to come in here and help us create a brand new 5-year plan. And there were certain initiatives that were identified that the community, business, and industry felt like we should be involved in. Hands down, the #1 issue was qualified workers for our business and industry. I mean, there was nothing even a close second. So when we found that out, we realized, hey, we need to dive into this. We need to try to make a difference to help our business and industry. So when we came across YouScience, we saw this could be a big problem solver to help us to grow our own workers. There's a shortage of workers big time across the board. It doesn't matter if it's the hotel down the street or one of our major manufacturers, there's a big issue of finding qualified workers. So if we can keep some of these students from leaving the county or leaving the state and find out what's available here in Jackson County, so there's some great jobs, especially in manufacturing, phenomenal jobs. We thought this would give us an opportunity to try to keep some of those students here.
Every day I hear from business and industry, and they're all trying to find workers. And as Rick said, this is going to be a game changer. This tool right here, YouScience, will be able to identify careers for our students. And also our business and industry will be able to utilize YouScience too and get appropriate candidates for them.